I hurt. You're laughing at me.
No, we're laughing with you.
We're laughing with
I
you.
am happy to be laughed with.
And we are live. I believe we are live. We are. Hello, everyone, and welcome to our community coloring night. Raleigh folks, welcome to our first virtual First Friday event, which I'm very excited about. It's usually theater people get kind of kicked out of the mix. It's really visual arts, so I love that we're doing this. Hello, Laura. Laura's joined us on Facebook. So hello, Laura Frost. Thank you for hanging out with us tonight. And I am hanging out with Andrea Kaler,
like Taylor, but with a K.
Kaler, from Coloring Broadway, and I am so excited because she has shared some coloring sheets. She's got 4 winter-themed coloring sheets that she's shared with us. Hi, Steph. Steph just popped on Facebook, so hello, Steph. And we're going to chat, and we've got some surprise guests who are joining us, and we're just going to have a whole thing tonight.
Yay!
So how are you, Andrea?
I am good and so glad we are coloring. I have to tell you, after Black Friday and then the week after, a little bit of actual downtime. Sadly, this is sometimes the only time I carve out time for coloring these days is stuff like this. So it's so relaxing.
Well, and I know Steph is on Facebook with us. Steph, you are a weekly colorer. I think it's Saturdays or Sundays, right? That she colors a sheet, and she's always posting them, and they always look beautiful. So
they do look gorgeous.
Yes. So, and I'm going to share this with all those crazy friends of mine. But you can print these out in any size. Andrea's printed out the card size so you can send them, or you can print out the larger size so you can frame them. Laura's saying she colors every other day. Steph says she colors every Sunday. Steph, you should have a coloring party. We should all color on Sundays. I think that would be a lot of fun. But anyway, thank you guys for joining us, and hopefully it'll just be a fun, relaxing, kind of chill night. So Andrea, before our special guests start popping in and joining us, let's talk about coloring and mindfulness for a second. Steph and Laura, they're already fans of Coloring Broadway, so they're stalkers like me. But aside from that, for people who don't know, how did you make the connection between mindfulness and musicals and coloring?
Well, I think the first connection came when it was in 2014 in April, and it was right at the height of everything coloring and all of that jazz. And I picked up a coloring book I had not colored in since probably I was 8 or 9. I always called myself, I am not that kind of artist. I dance. I don't sing, but I'm a dancer. So that was my creative outlet. But I picked up this coloring book and I started to color things. And I was like, I would spend hours doing it. I would want to keep doing it. I was super relaxed at the end. I was having these things that I was putting creative energy into. And then I had a finished product I could look at. And it was just a lot of things kind of came together. And what you may or may not know about me is that I work in leadership development and coaching. And so I work with people on self-awareness, on slowing down, on mindfulness. And I also design training programs. So after this enjoyment of coloring happened, my super nerdy neuro programming brain went off. And I was like, oh my God, this is the perfect thing to create slowing down time for your brain to relax and for ideas to happen, right? So there's lots of neuroscience behind coloring and why it's calming and what it does, but there's also a lot of fun that goes with it. So like, I like to balance those two together. So I was like, ooh, I can create mindfulness coloring on purpose. Whereas I saw a lot of people putting cool phrases and mindful motivational phrases in coloring pages, but I wanted to create actual like mindfulness activities because that's my instructional design brain. It's great to do it, but let's put some packaging around it to do it intentionally. And so I created a book called The Power of Positive Coloring. Like, I don't write books. I don't know. Like, this is a whole there's a whole other story about my journey into entrepreneurship. But so I created this book. There's 45 illustrations. Each of them has a mindfulness activity with them. And I started going. So I was like, I'm just going to form a company. I'm going to do this thing. And then I eventually quit my day job and started just focusing on this for a while. And then the illustrator that I was working with, again, keep in mind at this point, I was like, I don't draw. I'm not an artist. I might be able to color, but I had that story in my head about myself. And then Hamilton had come out and I was listening to those lyrics, and I have been a musical theater fan for my whole life. Into the Woods, if I could just watch that over and over, it's like all things leadership and musical theater in one happy place, all those life lessons. But Hamilton was super popular, and my illustrator and I were like, can we put some Hamilton lyrics in one of these coloring pages? And I was like, yes, let's do that. But at the same time, let's create a separate company called Coloring Broadway so that we have a vehicle for that, because not everybody for the coloring project is going to be a musical theater fan, but musical theater fans will all be a very specific group of people. So that was really how Coloring Broadway started. And my vision is ultimately to continue talking about all of the beautiful things we learn about people, about society, about ourselves through the theater, through these lyrics that we listen to and we're like, oh, that speaks to me. They're talking to me. They're talking about me. That's how I feel. Like these lyrics that give words to feelings we haven't even articulated yet. But somehow they just like go.
Do that. The best musicals do that.
Mine is when I saw Waitress and heard she's messy, but she's kind. Like even saying that out loud, I get a little teary because that hit right to the core of all of these feelings that I didn't know I had been stuffing for a long time. And I still do it. Like the basic stupid chords. And I'm like, oh. And I'm wearing my Waitress shirt from Broadway Life Coach, Broadway Life Apparel.
Yes. Yes. Oh, and I love it. Well, and I loved Waitress too. That song is so beautiful, and the more I listen to it, the more I hear in it. Sarah is Bareilles. What a writer! I mean,
you just got me started on Waitress, so I will talk about Dawn. Like everybody thinks that Jenna is the main character, but the song Dawn sings about what if when he sees me, he doesn't like me? Hello, everything I have thought about myself. What if I let myself out? What if I say things out loud and nobody even talking about things like this with you? I'm like, oh, well, hopefully, right? Like we all have that feeling of if people truly see who we are, will they really like us? And then you just see like the anxiety that Dawn created around and her OCD tendencies in order to deal with that fear. Right?
That's an amazing. I wish I had seen it with Katie Lowe's because I'm obsessed with her from Scandal. But anyway, we could talk all night long. But you have tons of different coloring sheets, tons of digitals, downloads. You have all these amazing stickers, which I'm slightly obsessed with now. But talk about your winter collection. How did you develop this collection?
So as you said, we have winter collections. We released 2 collections, which I happen to have here with me because my office is also my production space. So I surround myself with it all the day. But so we wanted to create, honestly, like we do so much work, and you know this already, about being diverse and inclusive, that we know that the holidays are a little bit strange and challenging if you don't happen to be Christian and want something that speaks to you. So it was really important for me to create not just something that's holidays and loop it all together, but I wanted to separate it out. So for people who Christmas is a thing and that's their jam, we did a very Broadway Christmas with 4 different Christmas related Broadway lyrics. And then for people who don't do the Christmas thing but like to celebrate the holidays, we did a very Broadway holiday, which has 4 different things that speak to this time of the year without necessarily being Christmas focused. Right. So we've got Seasons of Love and It's Beginning to Snow. I mean, Raindrops on Roses and Whiskers on Kittens from, Sound of Music's just did this time of the year sort of thing. And then when we first started the coloring project, it was also important for me to create something specifically for Hanukkah. So that is also something that we have available, because it really does get the short end of the stick with so much of. And as I say that out loud, I'm like, I wonder where that phrase comes from and whether I should continue to say it. So I will look that up now. Is that a not inclusive phrase? But I don't know. But I will learn. I will learn if it is. But yeah, so it was really important for us to create something that everybody could have that spoke to them. So
yeah, I love that, because being Jewish, we don't get a whole lot of Hanukkah things. So I love that. Luciano, singer,
Luciano
is happy to join, and he loves the song from Waitress, and he did see it with Katie Lowe's. I would have loved it with Katie Lowe's and her husband.
Happy Chats.
Yeah, I would have loved to see it.
Well, I have a story about that. I actually did see it with both of them in it, and I have a dear friend of mine who took who out of the blue came like I have a very strange thing. When I go to New York, it's almost like I have more friends in New York than I have here in Seattle. So when I go to New York, I had like 7 people where all got together and we went to the theater together. But Neil was able to get us backstage because and forgive me for forgetting her name right now, but the woman playing Becky at the Becky at the time was somebody he knew, so he got us backstage. So I was able to meet Miss Holmes and her husband. So
I hope they were nice, because I imagine her being very nice, like just
she's
somebody
the sweetest, happiest person. And what was so great about it is I also loved her in Scandal. So I was looking forward to the opportunity to see her in something so different. Like the true definition of watching somebody be an actor is playing characters that are different than who they are.
I loved Scandal too. Steph said Hanukkah doesn't get a lot, but David Diggs did do a new Hanukkah, just gave us a new Hanukkah song. And Leslie Odom Jr., I think, also came out with a Hanukkah song.
That's so great.
We're all
I have been loving Sugar and Booze. That is my favorite, what's it called? I just dropped something, sorry. Phones coming out of the things that are set up to record the things. It's the life of an entrepreneur. Shoot, what's her name now? Anna Gasteyer.
And that's who I saw Wicked with. She was my
she's amazing. And Sugar and Booze is the greatest song. It's so good.
So good. It is so good. And she was really good in A Christmas Story, the Broadway. Steph said Leslie Odom Jr. covered Mount. I can't even pronounce it, but yes, Leslie Odom Jr. covered a Hanukkah song.
I'm really glad you can't pronounce it, because I know I can't.
And with my Christmas tree behind me, because I just had to do the Christmas tree thing this year.
I mean, in service of stepping up into she's messy but she's kind and dropping imposter syndrome, I have a big love of the holiday season. And I wish there was some way to take people to a space where they could just enjoy this secular, non-religious part of celebrating the beautifulness of the time of the year that has everybody reflecting and starting to focus on the good parts of humanity that we wish would last throughout the year, but at least we get a 2-month reminder at the end of the year. So despite religions, despite differences of religious traditions, like there's this time of the year where everybody starts to reflect, and to be able to share in that overall joy without kind of some of the divisiveness that happens.
Mm-hmm. I agree. I told my kids and my husband, I just want to celebrate everything. A friend of mine actually published a Kwanzaa pamphlet, and I was like, you know, I just don't know enough about Kwanzaa, so I'm going to download it and I'm going to learn about it because this is the year to learn. Laura says she saw Christmas Story live on NBC. I did too, and I enjoyed it. I especially enjoyed it because William Ivy Long did the costumes. And I've interviewed him several times and I enjoy him so much. He's a delightful person.
I remember seeing A Christmas Story because it previewed here in Seattle before it went to wherever it went after.
Did you see Marie in Seattle when it premiered there?
I can tell you that I don't know. And I say that from a place of, before I started Coloring Broadway, I was much worse with remembering names. For me, part of that musical theater experience is I go and I feel the show, and I remember how I felt, and I remember the emotional ride it took me on, but I didn't pay as much attention to the people who were bringing that to the stage. And that's been a great evolution as I've been doing this, is to be able to not only get to experience the story and the transformational power of the story, but also start to get to know the different actors and how they bring themselves to the character to tell the story.
I love that. I love it. Well, I have my coloring sheet in front of me, and I came up with a list. Steph says it was Little Dancer when she saw it. And so it was called Little Dancer, and now it's called Marie when Broadway.
Oh, yeah. No, I totally did see that. I thought you were talking about Marie, a person, as an actress.
Nope. Little Dancer. Little Dancer is now being called Marie, but I know that did premiere at the 5th Street.
Yeah, the 5th Avenue. Yep.
The 5th Avenue. So I have trivia questions.
I don't know if I can answer them.
Why not?
But maybe some of the people watching can.
Yeah, you guys answer them, because the reason I'm doing I'm terrible at trivia, but I did come up.
We need Tim Dolan from Broadway up close.
we need help, but so this has to do with one of your coloring sheets, the one that I'm going to color tonight. It is reported that before filming, Vincent Minnelli asked Hugh Martin to change the lyrics to this song from "It May Be Your Last," "Next Year We May All Be Living in the Past," and they asked him to change it to "Let Your Heart Be Light, Next Year All Our Troubles Will Be Out of Sight," to make the song more upbeat. So what Christmas carol is this? And bonus points. No, Zara, you cannot answer. My daughter's sitting on the other side of the camera. Bonus points if you can tell us the musical. Yeah.
I think I know the answer to this, but I want to see if anybody else who's watching knows the answer. I don't know the answer to the musical, but I do know the answer to which song it is, I think.
My dad took me to see, this is this is a musical that was a movie that was turned into a Broadway musical in the 90s. But
Mom, you're giving a lot of clues to them.
Well,
it's okay. They need it. Yep. Steph's got it.
Steph got the song right. The song is "Have Yourself a Merry Little Christmas." And Steph, it is possible that Yolanda, I should have known Yolanda would get it right. Yolanda is correct. Have yourself a merry little Christmas is from, well, almost correct, Yolanda. Meet me in St. Louis. And this is the
I like Take Me to St. Louis.
Louis, but here's the coloring page, which I love that you have this because I love this.
Did it print all funky? Do I need to fix the print?
Well, I'm gonna trim it. It may be my printer. I was doing this very fast today, and we're gonna get to talk to Yolanda later and hear some of her music because she's awesome.
I'm so excited, Yolanda.
But I also want to say that I love that. Look how pretty that is. I also want to say the Irish Rep is doing Meet Me in St. Louis as a Zoom thing happening in December. So everybody, if you want to see it on Irish Rep, it looks really good, really inclusive. So I'm very excited about that. So anyway, so what else do you have going on? What's your favorite holiday tradition? Do you have any favorite holiday foods, holiday memories? Well,
my family did something super, and now the lead up with the pause makes it sound like it was really exciting, but my family tended to bring everybody together on the holidays, both Thanksgiving and Christmas, and we would all go to the movies.
So you celebrated a Jewish Christmas. I see.
We would open packages. We would eat breakfast-ish, lunch, brunch-ish at the table. We would get whatever it is cooking, and then we'd all go to an afternoon movie while the dinner cooked. Then we'd come back, we'd have dinner, we'd clean up, we'd do all of that, and then whoever else was awake, we'd go see another Christmas release movie.
I love that. Well, that's what Jewish people do on Christmas. We eat Chinese food and we go to the movies. Right, Steph? Steph just said Jewish Christmas. This is what we do. It doesn't matter where in the world you are. Except this year, not in a pandemic. No one's going to the movies, but we'll just watch movies.
We'll just watch movies. Yes.
So yeah.
Yeah, so that's what we did. And I mean, I don't think we did that when I was younger, but I'm 47 now. So for the last 25, 26 years, we did the movie thing when all of the kids were grown, and it was really our day to come together and hang out.
Yeah. Very nice. So are you going to get to see family this year, or are you sheltering?
We are still waiting to make a decision based on kind of how things show up after Thanksgiving. My mom lives in Salt Lake City, and we usually go, one of the holidays we usually go to visit family. And my father passed away this year, so this will be our first Christmas without my dad. And I'm a little bit worried about my mom being in Salt Lake by herself. But at the same time, I'm also worried about flying and then taking exposure to her, because she's in her late 70s and compromised from just her age. So it's something that we're kind of hedging to see if that is something we do. And my husband, his dear friend ruined him forever for long drives. She made him drive across country. And after that, he's like, nope, I don't want to take a long drive. I'm like, we could just drive to Utah. It's only 13 hours. He's like, no.
Nope. All right. Think of how many show tunes, how many original Broadway cast albums could you
That's probably what he's afraid of.
Yes. Sarah, gallery behind the camera.
You hit the nail on the head. My husband is not a show tune loving soul, and so I have to do it with my favorite theater people on Zoom calls now.
Yes. Well, that's okay. So
what do you have planned for the holidays? What do your holidays look like?
We're kind of sheltering in place. We have our Christmas trees that are populating the entire house now.
The Christmas Hanukkah bushes?
Yes. Christmas. What were you saying it was called? That Christmaka? That's what she just said. But we're just going to stay home. My parents live 2 miles away, so they are part of our quarantine pod.
Oh, nice.
And so I'm sure we will see them at some point, but we're really just trying to keep them safe, kind of like your mom. We're just trying to keep them safe. So we'll play it by ear, but we'll make potato pancakes, I'm sure. The Hanukkah gilt is gone because I laid it out. I have my Christmas display. I have my Hanukkah display. Made the mistake of putting out the Hanukkah gilt, and that's gone. So
there's no getting a replacement one.
I did not eat more than half of it. There's lots of other people in this house who ate it. So tell me what's coming up next for Coloring Broadway. Oh, do you know what's happening with Broadway? No, Zara, put your hand down. You are not part of this.
No, I know what's coming up next for Coloring Broadway, though.
Oh, very good. Well, we'll let Andrea answer this question. Do you know what's happening with Broadway Con? Have you found out?
That's a great question. Broadway Con, we have just received, as vendors, we've just received some emails that say that they're going to have Broadway Con in late April. So it's going to be virtual. There's going to be panels and breakout rooms and meet and greets that are all virtual. So they're working like behind the scenes, trying to bring as close to the experience that you would get in person to you from a virtual perspective. For vendors, I'm not quite sure what it's going to look like. So that has yet to be kind of understood and seen, but it's a very strange thing to have a January without a Broadway Con. This will be the first year in 3 years. This will be the fourth. This would have been the 4th year that we were there. But yeah, it's kind of crazy. The other thing, though, I am present to as a vendor. Can we always have it in April, please? because having it has nothing to do with the weather. It has all to do with the timing because it's right after Christmas. So not only as a vendor are we prepping for Christmas, we're also prepping for Broadway Con, which is a lot. Yeah. Which is a lot. So it's been really relaxing this Christmas. Not that this has been relaxing, but like it's been less busy because I don't have to prep for Broadway Con.
All right. So we have a pop-in guest who is a North Carolina icon, and I'm going to introduce him with a trivia question. Because, I have all sorts of trivia questions. So last year, here's the trivia question. Last year, actor Campbell Scott stepped into this holiday Hamlet of a role on Broadway, following in his father, George C. Scott's footsteps. George played the same role in a 1984 made-for-TV movie. What is the role that Campbell Scott played last year?
Do I get to play, or should I wait for the people in the audience? Oh. Laura says, oh.
Laura, do you have it? Do you know who did Campbell Scott play? I would have loved to see it because I really love him as an actor, but
it was really amazing.
Okay, no one's answering on Facebook. They're quiet.
Carol.
They're coloring. So you answer, and then I'm going to bring our special guest in.
Awesome. I believe it's a Christmas. I believe it's a Christmas Carol. Yeah.
It's a Christmas Carol, and he played Scrooge, right? And his father played Scrooge.
And it's such a beautiful story. And ironically, it has nothing to do really with Christmas from a religious perspective. It's really a story of self-reflection and self-awareness. Like it's a night of a whole bunch of different ways that a character goes through understanding who they are as a person. It's beautiful.
And that is true. No one knows that better than my guest here, my special guest, David Henderson, who's decorating for Christmas as we speak. He's taken some time out to hang out with us.
I have. Hey, how you doing?
Hey, hi. David. David, this is Andrea from Coloring Broadway. This is David Henderson, who has been playing.
Nice to meet you.
So for those of you who don't live in the Triangle area of North Carolina, we have a tradition here that is a Christmas Carol, which has become a Raleigh institution, produced by a company called Theater in the Park. And David has been playing Jacob Marley in this production for 25 years.
Wow.
Yeah.
So, David,
Half my
how are you
life.
doing this Christmas without putting on the garb?
Oh, it's hard. It's hard. I talked to Dave the other day, and I jokingly said that I was going to show up at his house every night at 7:30 for the month of December and just spend 3 hours with him and then leave. It's hard. I mean, it has been such a part of my life since I was 25. So this would have been my 26th year with the show, and it's bittersweet. I will say that, and I think David would say the same thing. Is it's really hard not to be doing it, but at the same time, it's the first time in 26 years that my tree is decorated before we move into Memorial or the Deepak. But it's a hard year.
The nice thing, if there is a nice thing about this year, though, is people will not have to live without a Christmas Carol, without the Raleigh version. So Ira David Wood the third adapted Charles Dickens' story for the stage. What is it, like 45 years ago? He did this a very long time ago.
Yeah. I think this year's the 46th. Is the 46th? Yeah, 47th maybe 47th. I think it's 47th. I've lost track.
All right, we'll find out. But this year, people can stream it. So no matter where you are in the country, you can see this glorious version. And in the second act, David Henderson and Ira David Wood, who have been friends for so long, the banter between Jacob Marley and Scrooge is just, is it even scripted, David? You might be frozen. David, are you still with us?
It's a great Frozen pose, by the way.
Oh, I like it. You look like you're doing the Jacob Marley thing, but I think I may have lost you, David.
Mm-hmm.
David.
Oh.
Are you there? Okay, so David, I am going to, if you can still hear me, I'm going to remove you and then come back into the StreamYard and let's see if we can get you back, because I really want to talk about this Christmas Carol. Is so fun. And David Henderson and Ira David Wood banter and improv.
Yeah, I want to hear about whether that is improv or not.
It has to be improv. I mean, they throw in political humor. They throw in they're just amazing. They're truly amazing actors. It's an amazing production. It's a big production, and you can stream it this year, the entire month of December. They filmed last year's production, and so you can see it. And hopefully David will come back and hang out with us and we can talk more to him. But anyway, thank you, David, for hanging out. He's decorating for Christmas.
Yeah, thank you, David. And we'll see you when you come back. And I am also jealous. I will actually get to put my Christmas tree up. Having a product-based business at the holidays means there have been a couple of years in the last couple of years that I actually haven't put a Christmas tree up, because I have been so busy that I just didn't have time, and that will not happen this year.
That's kind of nice though, right? I guess there are benefits to this whole pandemic thing that's happening.
Well, actually, would that be a really cool thing to ask the people who are still watching? What are some of the benefits that they can shift and look at that they felt from the pandemic? Because it does suck not to be able to be in front of people and be around humans, but like there have been some things that have shifted as a result of being homebound.
Absolutely. So if you're watching on Facebook, Laura, I think you're watching on Facebook and Twitch. If you're watching on any of the platforms, write in the comments. Tell us what's been the silver lining in the pandemic. Where's the silver lining? And again, peanut gallery on the other side of the camera. Okay, fine. What's been the silver lining, Sarah? My daughter's on the other side of the camera hanging out.
Is she doing the ooh, 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 ooh?
Yes, she's like raising her hand. All right, so what's been the silver lining, Ms. Z?
I've had a bunch of time just to spend with my family. And like that's very important to me because next year I will be going to college and I will be leaving the house. And so all the time I have with my family is important, and I've had that because of COVID.
Oh, so family. And I will say, I think as a mom, having time, I feel like we're getting a bonus here with both our kids because they're both supposed to be in college. So it's been nice having them home. Laura says watching virtual shows has been her favorite part. Laura, I'd love you to type in what's been some special virtual productions you've seen. I just would love to hear. And Steph says more time to read, more time to color, naps during lunch breaks, and extra coffee. Agreed.
I'm going to say my pocketbook has benefited from the slowdown, the quarantine. I am not going to Starbucks as much as I used to. Like when you're out and running out and about, it's really easy to just say, oh, I'll just stop here and have lunch here, or I'll grab a coffee while I'm out or do some other things. But when I'm at home, I'm making my own coffee. We're cooking at home more with the family. So that's actually been really nice to see that, like, I haven't been spending as, I won't say frivolously, but just it's a difference in what I'm spending my money on.
I agree. We've been ordering in. We don't eat out as much, but we're just not doing as much.
Mm-hmm.
So now we do go to Starbucks all the time because they opened in the middle of this pandemic. They opened up a Starbucks across the street from my house, which is not a big deal about it.
There's one a block away. I mean, I'm in Seattle, so like there's one on every block, but like there literally is one a block and a half away from my house. And I'm like, oh well. And don't talk to me about the fact that we do drive there instead of walking. But that's a whole other story.
Okay, so I think we may have David back. We do have David back. Awesome.
Wow.
So David, we were asking you about improv. Is the whole second act improv?
No, and that's it. I think the beautiful thing about what we do as actors is, and it's always that illusion that what people are seeing is happening for the first time, although you've rehearsed it for hundreds of times. And there is a lot of it that is improvised. There is a script. Don't get me wrong, but we try a lot of things in rehearsal. We throw a lot of things at each other in rehearsal, and sometimes they find their way into the production that people come and see, and other times they don't. But we've tried so much that by the time we throw something out there that we tried in rehearsal, it's like 8 weeks ago. So we a lot of times it's new. It doesn't throw us, but it cracks us up, and we have a good time. And I think there's a lot of trust, I think, that goes into that, is knowing that regardless of what David throws at me, I'm going to have his back, and regardless of what I throw at him, he's going to have my back. And that's the beauty of it for me.
Do you find that because you've done it year after year with each other for 25 years, do you find that it comes easier, or is it harder to reimagine these characters year after year?
I would say easier to a certain degree because of what the characters, the journey of the characters, even though our production is has the moments of irreverent humor and the topical humor. I mean, at the core of it is still the essence of Dickens' story, which is, as Andrea was saying, is that story of a person's journey and self-reflection and looking at the mistakes they've made in their life. And as Jacob, I always have said that Jacob is dearly in love with Ebenezer. Like, he loves him so much that he's drawn back to do this to convince him. And I think the older I get, the easier it is to feel that need to tell people, don't screw this up. You know, and now physically, I will say, it has gotten, it's gotten harder in some ways and easier in others. I mean, when I first started doing the show, 5 years ago, I weighed 330 pounds when I did the show, and now I weigh 172, 173. So that's easier on me now a lot, but I'm 51. So, my knees can't take the kick line like they used to.
It's such a fun production to watch. Do you have a favorite moment in the show, David?
Yeah, I have several. But one of the ones, I think one of the most moving moments is the moment with Scrooge in Tiny Tim's bedroom, where I just get to watch. And he sits on the bed and he gives Tim his teddy bear, and he's just sitting there in that moment. And we've just heard Bob Cratchit sing the lullaby to Tim, and I break the silence with just the word Ebenezer, and that's it. It's like I break that, but it's that moment of seeing the pain of that David and Ebenezer are going through, and what that does to Jacob. I think that's one of my favorite moments. And then I love being in the bed. I mean,
Sorry,
it doesn't get much better than that. It doesn't get much better than rolling over and getting to to do Strangers in the Night, lying in bed with Ebenezer Scrooge.
All right, so I love that you have an RDU on stage mug. That's awesome.
Oh yeah, thank you. Yes, I drink coffee out of it almost every day.
Awesome.
I will not judge the beverage of choice in there. Any beverage.
It is decaf coffee.
Okay.
I know.
All right.
I know. Yeah.
All right.
A thrilling life I lead.
So, David, what are some Christmas traditions? I know. So, Andrea, this cast of A Christmas Carol is about 70 people, and most of them have been in this show year after year after year. So they all kind of spend Thanksgiving together. And David was telling me one time that usually Thanksgiving morning, it's you guys all getting together or hanging out. He told me a story about you guys being in a hotel, the entire cast and crew, and spending Thanksgiving together. So tell me about some of the holiday traditions around A Christmas Carol family.
We used to do the show in Columbia, South Carolina, as a benefit for the Babcock Center Foundation. And we would take the show down and run the Friday, Saturday, sometimes the Sunday after Thanksgiving. And most of those years, I would go down either Thanksgiving Day or that evening. So we would all be in this hotel in downtown Columbia, South Carolina, celebrating Thanksgiving together, eating hotel Thanksgiving meals. And then the rest of the cast would arrive on Friday midday, and we would tech the show, and we'd have a show at 8:00. And that's huge. The Christmas parade has always been one of the big traditions that we've really honored a lot. Is the day of the parade, we have a giant potluck on the grounds of the theater, and after the parade, and it culminates in us doing a a sing through with the band for the first time. So that's where it really starts, right? Is everybody gets that, oh, now we're adding the other elements of the show. That's huge. But probably the most important tradition that we have is on Christmas Eve at 9 o'clock. All cast members, current, past, and present, will go out on their porch or out into their yard and look up into the sky at the same time. And it's something really amazing to kind of just feel that connection across time and space with each other on Christmas Eve. Because by the time we get to Christmas Eve, we've spent 3+ months celebrating Christmas. Every rehearsal ends with someone yelling Merry Christmas to the cast and the cast responding. So you've got that much time kind of invested in a Christmas spirit, and then you hit that Christmas Eve and you're tired because you've done 10 to 12 shows in a row, and you've finished your Christmas shopping. Your body is exhausted and you're so raw with emotion, and you're outside, it's cold, and you feel hundreds of other people across time and space sharing that one moment with you. So
that is beautiful. I love that so much. And I think that's what makes this production so special, or all the traditions steeped in it. It's a glorious production. Anybody, I know there's going to be a million versions of A Christmas Carol to watch online this year, but I can't recommend the Theater in the Park one highly enough. David, what's a favorite Christmas tradition?
Yes.
In your house?
For me personally?
Yeah, for your family, your new family.
My new family. Yeah, I got married 2 weeks before we went into quarantine.
Oh, wow.
How's that? No, I will say, so years ago, my dad has this Christmas nightgown that he wore. It's red, and my mom made it for their first Christmas together. My parents have been married 52 years. And she made it on their first Christmas together. And it's this red kind of felty like nightgown, and it's got a little Santa on it that she made. And he wore it every Christmas as he got larger and larger, and and then the year I had my first Christmas with my son Mac, my dad handed that over to me. And so I wear that, and that's something that really means something to me, as a personal thing, is being able to wear that and keep that tradition alive that my dad did. And I'm hopefully one day we'll pass it down to Mac, but he's 13 now, so he's kind of like, oh, Dad. But and then another thing is for me personally, I always watch White Christmas. I can't get enough of White Christmas. That's my Christmas movie.
No.
I watch Emmett Otter's Jug Band Christmas, and White Christmas. Those I probably, and usually I'll watch White Christmas alone because no one else will watch it with me.
I'll watch it with you.
It is it's like Christmas crack. It's just,
I mean, yeah, it's just got the people in it that are fun to watch.
Oh, it's absolutely, Mike Rabb, who used to play the Ghost of Christmas Future in Christmas Carol for years, he and I have wanted to do Sisters as an act for decades.
Sisters.
All right.
Yeah,
you need to make that happen for all of us.
Absolutely.
We can try. That's for sure.
McBride, I think you play a very beautiful woman. So
well, thank you. I had a blast doing that show, and still to this day, I think about it at least once a day. Something about that show, because I've got in my office, I've got memorabilia of things, and I look over and I see things, and it reminds me of dressing up in green thigh-high boots as Britney Spears, and I have fond memories of that.
What memorabilia do you keep around after shows, or do you collect from things that you like to see or participate in?
I love little teeny personal prop things that are given to me, not like stolen, things like that. I did a production of A Steady Rain years ago, and my character, we had him hold a worry stone, and so that sits on my desk. And little things like that, things that I can just place around and remind me, little talismans, if you will, of the show.
Nice.
Well, thank you, David,
Thank
for
you.
hanging out with us tonight and popping in.
Thank
I
you.
feel like we're having just like a potluck Christmas party here, but
I love it.
I can't wait to see the production this year. I will be streaming it, and
Thank you.
just happy decorating, happy
Thank you.
holidays.
I'm decorating while we talk. If you see me looking down, it's because I'm actively doing coloring.
You're well, I'm gonna go in and finish what we're doing. But Lauren, thank you, and I'm
Yeah.
sorry about the internet connection. I have no idea what happened.
Don't worry, we love technology. I'm used to it by now, but but
I'm
we're
sure
good.
you are.
Anyway, thank you, David. Everybody, watch A Christmas Carol,
Merry
and I will
Christmas.
see you soon.
Bye.
So this is fun. We have like people hanging out, dropping in.
If you're still on with us, drop a hello in the chat so we know who's here. Because I can see on Facebook that there are 8 peeps in, but I know Laura and Steph are here. But who else is hanging out with us?
We have please tell us who you are, friends, so that we can give you a shout out. I know Yolanda is here. Yolanda's going to join us in a few minutes. Luciano is here. Catherine, I don't know if you're still here, but hello if you are. And Catherine's still here. Catherine.
Yeah. Hey, Catherine.
Kimberly Wood is here. Welcome. So yeah, we've got people coloring, and as you guys progress on your coloring, we'd love to see them. Post pictures, post in the comments.
Screenshot. Yeah, drop a picture in the comments.
So
I can't decide what to do next. There's windows.
Steph is saying that she thinks she found one of your most challenging coloring pages. What Steph, what are you coloring? I'd be curious. What do you think is the most challenging coloring page? Do you have a most challenging?
Well, I know that she just downloaded the new Frozen collection that we just released today. So I'm guessing she might be doing one from that one. I don't know. I find different ones challenging for different reasons at different times. Right? Like, so this one for me is challenging to do while I have a conversation.
Yes.
Or while I try and attend to this and color it, versus some of the other ones where they're more mandala or pattern driven. So I can just choose a color and go around and go around and go around. And now it's beautiful. And I didn't have to think about it. Versus this one where I'm like, all right, well, so what color does the outside of the window need to be in order for it to look like a window, but to also be colorful? Like, those are the thoughts going through my head. Oh, she's not going to tell us. It's not a new one, she said.
It's not a Frozen one? Oh, Steph, come on. She's holding out.
No.
Oh, well, all right. We'll have to guess.
So I forgot to ask you if I could ask questions of the guests, because I don't want to step on your interviewing toes.
It's been a long day. So yes, I would love you to ask questions.
Because I wanted to know from him what lessons he's learned from playing Jacob after so many years. Like, does he continue to learn new things each time? he plays it, or like, so I was like, oh, but I don't want to ask.
Ask away, jump in. This is
All right, excellent.
This is our joint talk show. Catherine is interested in hearing how others color. Do you stay in the lines, or do you color selections and overlap the lines? What have you found, Andrea, when you see what people post on social media?
I've seen most people are kind of paying attention to the lines, but what I really love most is watching how differently each person colors it, like the different color choices, the different patterns, those different choices. But the coloring in the lines and out of the lines, what I also see is a different use of negative space, like what they choose to color in and what they choose to leave blank. That's always very interesting. And then always like if people color it digitally versus with mixed media, with markers only, or with, like, I got out my colored pencils and my markers. So I like to do a little mishmash.
Mishmash. Laura's saying she stays in the lines, but also seep into it here and there.
Mm-hmm.
Steph is saying she'll do her big reveal on Sunday as to what
working towards it. Yes.
And I love Laura is following us both on Facebook and Twitch. I haven't done a lot with Twitch, but I know there are a lot of theater people on Twitch. So please follow us on Twitch as well. That's new.
Twitch is when I feel old.
Yeah.
Twitch and TikTok.
I do too. We're all getting used to the TikTok. How do you add a picture? So Kimberly, you should be able to add a picture by sharing in the comments. Let's see. I'm going to go back to
if you're on your phone, you can just add it as a picture when you make a comment. And forgive me if I'm not looking up. If I'm ever not looking up, it's not because I'm not listening. It's just because I'm coloring. But you can add it that way. And I think you can attach a photo if you save it to your computer. You can attach it using the little icon on the far right of the comment.
Or Kimberly, if you want, you can email me. I will put my email in the comments and or text it to me and I will post it. I will share it. So here, let me put my email in the comments.
So I'm curious, as you're putting your email in the comments, I'm curious if people get stuck and stop coloring at different times. Like, how do you keep going?
Yeah. And what always makes me curious is what is there a right and wrong in coloring? Because I think you can second guess so
well, and I think this is that big metaphor for life, right? Remember when I said when I started coloring, I was like, oh my God, this is so many things, right? Like, there is no right or wrong. It's just hey, let's see how this works. And the more times I try new and different things, the better I'm going to get at it looking the way I conceive of, right? And when I first started, there were times where I found myself going down a color palette that I wasn't comfortable with, or that I didn't like how it was looking. And I made a decision at one point. I was like, I'm not going to throw in the towel. I'm going to finish it to the end, because 9 times out of 10, when I finished it to the end, I liked how it came out. But it was that point in that, the first 20% or 30% of it where I was like, ooh, I don't think I like this. I want to start again. And I was like, nope, you have to stick it through. And so that was a mental exercise for me to stay with that creative thing, even though it doesn't necessarily feel like it's going where I want it to. Yeah, it's a super interesting exercise.
It's funny. I told you the last time I interviewed you, the night before I did that interview, my husband, my daughter, and I were all coloring. And as soon as we kind of let go and got out of our heads, we were much happier with the result, and we were much happier, just much more in the zone, much more in the flow of things. But our next guest just came in the door. So we are gonna welcome her in. And there she is, my friend and beautiful human, Yolanda Raven.
Thank you.
Hello.
Yolanda. Oh, hello.
How are you?
And this is Andrea.
Hi, Andrea.
Hello.
How are you?
I am enjoying relaxing a little bit.
That's nice. It's a Friday evening. That's what we should be doing, relaxing. So yes, this is good.
Yep.
Ah, and you have water,
Andrea,
not wine.
Look, a super cool thing. Yolanda watched my interview with you the last time on Instagram, and afterwards she was saying, she texted me and she said, this mindfulness and coloring thing is totally resonating with me right now.
You see all the color behind me, right?
I do.
That's actually artwork from a local Durham artist, but that motivation of just having color in my life to make me feel good and just appreciate the environment is just driven by the concept of that coloring. And so when I talked to her, she was like, what colors do you want? I said, all of them.
I need all of them.
Although I wanted more purple. So the purple is my favorite color. So purple. Yeah.
So Yolanda, what have you been up to? You are one of these artists who I don't think you have stopped working a minute. Yolanda's a recording artist. She's an actor. You've been making a lot of music.
I have actually been recording during this pandemic time, but I've been also able to promote the recordings that I already have in the market with my Yolanda album. And now, of course, with Christmas time, I have my Christmas album, and it's totally different from last year. 2019, I was in the month of December, almost every week doing a live show based on my Christmas album and other music. And now it's like, that's not quite what's happening, but I am doing exciting things with the music because it's being played on the radio. And now we're in the streaming business, right? So I have been recording concerts to hopefully be shown soon. Yeah. Yay.
And you are taking on Gladys Knight. I mean, I thought, so everyone has a little background. Yolanda portrays Nina Simone in this outstanding production here that I hope will go national once everything comes back. But it's called No Fear and
Blues Long Gone.
And Blues Long Gone, Nina Simone. And you play a mean in the best possible way, Nina Simone. And I know she is one of your icons, one of your heroes. Nina Simone was born in North Carolina, not too far from Raleigh. And when they deemed her house a historic
national landmark.
Wow.
Landmark. Yolanda on the porch of Nina Simone's childhood home.
And actually sang a song that I recorded on my Christmas time album. So this is my Christmas time album.
Yes.
Yay. And one of the songs that I learned when I was younger, which is called Children Go Where I Send Thee, was a song that we sang on the porch that day. And it's one of those rollicking, down home gospel tunes, but notably like on my album, because I do have a jazz flair in my program, the combo is like a jazz combo with basically playing against me singing this spiritual rollicking song. And the combination of the two is pretty doggone exciting. So yeah. So Nina Simone is like, as I think about it, she's really ingrained a lot in my music and what I do. And for Christmas time, the album, it was an exciting time for me because I was able to bring all the Christmas songs that I love, and then also some that I wrote to the album, and that was exciting. Yep.
And
So
you did share that song with me. So once Andrea and I take a break, we're gonna play your music. So
yeah, and I was gonna say you need to drop that link in the Facebook chat or in the chat so people can know where to find and purchase your beautiful, wonderful album.
Absolutely.
Well, thank you. I will tell you. That's my website that I just sent you. So if you go to the website, it'll get you to how to get my albums, and the Christmas time album is there. But I will tell you that I was thinking about giving you trivia, Lauren, from the album because, my background is theater. And so one of the songs that I wrote was based on a play that I did. And the requirement for me to sing in the play and put music to this particular song that happened to be a Christmas song. And so I can tell you the title of the song and see if someone can guess, or even you guys can guess the play that I was in. All right. So the first track, here it is, the Christmas time album. The first track on my Christmas time album is called "Oh Mistress Mine." What show? I'll give you a hint. It's Shakespeare. What Shakespearean play that has anything to do with Christmas would this particular song be from?
Oh, I'm so upset that I don't know this offhand.
Okay.
I won't tell you I studied Shakespeare in my undergrad.
Facebook Hive and Twitch folks, I hope you heard the trivia question. The first single on Yolanda's Christmas album is called
"Oh Mistress Mine." And if you actually look it up, the answer is there. But I gave you the half.
Laura said 12th Night.
Hey, that's it.
All right, Laura.
So, and what role did I play? Do you know that? Who sings that song in 12th Night?
Ooh, all right, Laura, you're the Shakespeare person. So who would she have played that would have sung that song in 12th Night? So let's see, Laura. Well, let's see if Laura responds. But that's cool. I didn't know that, Yolanda. See, I'm even learning stuff. So while we're waiting for Laura to answer, or Google it.
Yes, Google. That works.
What are your holiday traditions, Yolanda? I know you've got the kids, you've got your husband. So what's happening in your house this holiday when you're not working?
I'm always working. Everyone is always working. I think that people look at the concept of work probably in the wrong manner. And I even heard you talk about it earlier, how, you're in the space where you do your production, but also where you're in this conversation. And I think that's okay, right? Because we're all one being just in action. We're doing things. And so I was telling someone earlier that this life that we live is on a really big playground. And on the playground, there's so many apparatus, and you can choose which ones you want to swing on or go learn how a new skill can be found to master it or not. But the fun of it all is that you realize it's a playground and everyone has the ability to play. And don't form cliques, because that gets you, ostracized from the crowd. And it keeps you from learning something new or meeting new people. And just have fun. Be in an exploratory mode. Discover all the new things that you could possibly do with all the different, again, slides and swings and monkey bars that are available to us to play.
I love that mindset shift of, I have that feeling in the leadership work that I do as well, where it's, if you have a concept around what work is, and work is a grind, it's going to be a grind no matter what it is.
Exactly.
Even if it's something that you like to do, it's going to feel heavy.
Yes.
Versus if you get to choose how you show up to it and what it provides you.
That's exactly right. So traditions, what do we do? So my men folks are all grown, at 19, 20 years old. So the things that we used to do long ago don't count anymore. So what we normally do is travel, which of course is different this year. Um, Although we're not totally, we're not blocking that concept out of doing it. It's just that the travel will be probably in our minds. Um, but probably watching a lot of movies, and cooking. So my husband, like, it's not a really a big secret, but he is an amazing cook. He comes from a family of cooks, and he has passed down his gift to my young boys, or young men. And so they have like these cooking contests in the house. And it's not a contest so much as it is like a display of their skills. So I will be working or in my office, and I will start smelling things from the kitchen like, oh my goodness, what are they doing? And so this I think that that'd be part of our new tradition of what they are going to discover in the kitchen and create. Yeah.
What is does your husband have a signature dish?
He has so many. One that he has created most recently is like this seared salmon with shrimp fried rice. And it's ridiculous what he does. I don't even know how he did it or what he does. It's just joy. As a matter of fact,
shrimp fried rice.
I call her Joy. And so when it's just joy in my house when he cooks. He has this mean chili that he does. I think it was called like a Texas chili. We've never been to Texas. But even to this day, there are people who talk about the chili, because what we used to do, and we still do it, like if we had friends who were not able to go out, whether because they were pregnant or someone died in their family, we would bring over a whole thing of food for them. And I used to think that people were getting sick on purpose just so that my husband could like make this food and bring it over to their home. I was like, wait a minute, you're past that point. We're not bringing food anymore. So, and he likes to discover new stuff. So he's like always trying to find new ways. My youngest son, he has his things with sauces. So he's always in the kitchen creating new sauces to go with the different things that we eat, which is pretty cool.
So Yolanda, is there a dish that he will make, your husband will make when he's in the doghouse, like a I love you, honey, I screwed up dish?
That's a really good question.
Honey, I screwed this up dish.
How do I make up for this and not sleep in the bathtub dish?
Well, interestingly, I'll say this. My love language is not eating food, right? Mm-hmm. And so to love me, if you've made a mistake, is not to feed me. It is really to hold my hand. I'm a person of touch. So I'd rather you hug me and to get closer to my heart than to give me praises or give me gifts or things of the sort. So I think, in our relationships, people need to be very clear about what it means to love the other person, because his love language is totally different from mine. So I have to like adjust and know if I'm in the doghouse, right? How do I get closer to my husband so that we can hear each other and communicate? And that's why we've been married for 26 years, because we kind of understand how to communicate with each other when things don't go just the way we want them to go.
Oh.
I love that you brought up the love languages.
Mm-hmm.
It's such a valuable tool for people to use in relationship.
Yes.
Like knowing how to convey your love in a way that they're going to better receive it, versus also how you understanding how you receive love and how you might misinterpret how they're trying to show you love, and you're just not getting it because
yeah. And I figured it out, honestly, or I'm still working on it, but figured it out with my boys, because their two love languages are completely different from my husband's. So now I have like this puzzle. Like I have to figure out, you can't, at Christmas time, you don't buy this gift and think, I've spent, all this and don't you love it? And they look at you like, I don't care.
Well, we haven't done this and this and this.
Exactly. So, one is this need to be just together. right? Just sitting together in the room doing nothing. And that's love to them. And so again, appreciating that and doing that. When I do my concerts, as a matter of fact, at Christmas time, my creative thing is to figure out how do I love them and get love in return? Like, how do I get it all? So last Christmas, we did my Christmas show called Songs of Holiday Cheer at Playmakers. We did 3 nights there. It was so much fun, so much fun. And I actually had each of my sons, or both of them, do something different in the show based on what their love language was, and my husband as well. So it worked out really nice. And I think that's like the key to life. You just have to figure out and how to communicate. And it's not just your husband or your mate, your children, it's your friends, it's your boss at work. It is every person that interacts in your life. And it works.
That's self-awareness.
Yeah.
I love that as a concept.
Yes. So
Yolanda, what has been the silver lining of the pandemic for you? Because you are really a cup half full kind of person. And that's why I adore you so much.
I think you guys were talking about it earlier. That's why I kind of wanted to chime in as I was tweeting or talking to you in the Facebook. It is finding time to kind of go within and get things done that you hadn't done before. You save money because you're not, doing. You start asking yourself, why did I go to Starbucks and every week? What was that about? And it was all rote. It was, it was habit. Everyone else does it. This is what. But do I need to do that? In other words, I think we have to be careful about living other people's stories for our own lives. That we have the ability to write the story that works for us. And that's what the pandemic did. It said, hey, you are not all those people. You are now in this circumstance. What makes you happy, right? What brings you joy? And then you start finding out, organizing my closet brings me a lot of happiness, right? Or cleaning out that drawer that has been that drawer forever and a day, and you don't know what's in there. I always share with my kids and even myself, I have everything I need. Everything is somewhere in this house. Somewhere in my car, somewhere in a note, that I wrote, somewhere in a folder. Go find it. And I think the pandemic gave us an opportunity to stop and go find it.
In so many ways. I had a dear friend of mine once say, how much time do you waste looking for things that you already have?
Or buy.
Right? Like how much money do you waste buying things you already have but can't find?
Yeah. So
Yolanda, before we listen to your amazing music, when is the concert? I saw you filming a concert on social media.
I filmed a couple of concerts. I know one of them is coming in 2021, but there is one I'm hopefully praying will be able to come in December. So I would tell people to follow me, go to my website, yolandaraven.com. Thank you for sharing it. And follow me because I will be putting out notices of when that hopefully Songs of Holiday Cheer will be available to you in the next couple of weeks. And follow me on YouTube. I have a YouTube channel. I'll probably go YouTube Live. And I will be talking to you and everyone else will be talking to you. It'll be a lot of fun. And then in 2021, I am preparing, like I said, some other streams that are coming out because I don't know how soon we're going to be able to get back into the theater. But I'm also, as you mentioned earlier, going to be doing a Gladys Knight tribute with Theater Raleigh. I'm so excited about that. I can't tell you. I mean, it'll be Gladys Knight tribute with the Pips. And so you're going to see some really wonderful choreography and music. And I'm also doing a play, a Shakespeare play, where I'm writing some original music with some other folks. So follow me at yolandaraven.com, and I'll continue to talk the way I speak tonight, right? And hopefully inspire people and give you hope that in spite of all the dram and the sham and the drudgery and the not so good stuff in this world, it's still a beautiful life we have. And we must find a way to live it and live it today.
She is a teacher. She's a scholar.
I have a question for you, whether we cover it now or I just ask you offline, but I would love to hear how you got interested in Shakespeare, because it sounds like you do a bit of it. I mean, The Twelfth Night and now another Shakespeare reference. I love Shakespeare for all of the humanity that it speaks into existence, but not everybody finds it and connects with it. So I'm always curious what connected you to it.
Well, I think as an actor, it is one of those skill sets that you want to acquire. And that is the ability to understand a different language, or a language before our understanding of time and language, and interpret it, that other people understand it. So that's always a beautiful challenge, like learning it and then saying to yourself, translating it, what does that mean to us today? And how do I convey that feeling to you so you know exactly what I said, even though you didn't understand the words as you know them to be the case.
Oh, you just gave me the chills. Like, I got the chills all the way down the legs.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
Well, and hopefully you will all get to see Yolanda on stage in one of these concerts.
Yes, please.
And I know there are a few colleagues that Andrea and I have who have just discovered Newsies. You play a mean Meadowlarkin.
Yeah, she was fun. I did that show with North Carolina Theater, 2018, I think it is, and oh gosh, it was such a breathtaking moment to watch I want to say young kids, because I'm starting to appreciate that I am older. But watch them, I know, right? I'm getting older. But watch the dancing and the choreography and the fact that our cast was multicultural, and we had a girl in the Newsies group who was dancing, Kaylee Newsom. I'm going to throw her name out because I've adopted her. Meta was fun. She was ballsy. I loved it.
Jason Gauthier was our chat.
Yes, he was.
And he was
amazing. Amazing. It was amazing. And he's a wonderful person. It wasn't just amazing in the role, but he's just a wonderful person outside of the stage and outside of the lights. And I will say that about North Carolina Theater, in my experience in working with them, they've been really good in judging the character of the people they bring to the companies that are presenting the shows. And that's why I really hope we get back to the stage soon, because it wasn't that you were talented, but it was just very neat that the people that I've been fortunate to work with have been talented and just good people. And you can't help but put on a good show when you have that combination. So.
Well, speaking of North Carolina Theater, and I don't want Eric and Elizabeth to kill me, but do we see, we've seen you as Nina Simone. We're going to see you as Gladys Knight. Is there a Billie Holiday in the future?
Actually, no. I can tell you that, no. I love Billie Holiday. I've actually seen a portrayal of that role, obviously from Audra McDonald. But Connie McCoy did a portrayal here in the Triangle area, and it was amazing. And I just think that I always tell people too, when it comes to art, know your lane. And I love Gladys Knight. I know that lane very well. And while I respect Billie Holiday, and certainly if asked to do it, would do it, I don't have to. I have so many other lanes to go run and play in.
Well, thank you. I just can't wait to see you and hug you. She gives the best hugs.
I know. I missed it. You see, you tell me, I love language of touch.
I'm getting that. Yeah.
You see, you feel? So.
I miss you, Yolanda.
I miss you too. And I'm going to be coloring tonight. Yeah. Did you see that I downloaded one?
Yes.
Did you see the one I downloaded?
I haven't seen it yet.
Okay.
What's
You gotta go look and see. I can't. I have to do it. I'll post it.
I
would love to see it.
I'll post it and I'll tag you.
I have no doubt it will be colorful.
Yes, it will be.
Purple,
and
with lots of purple.
With a lot of purple in it. Yes. And I'm going to do, I need it. Like, this is one of these things where I think people need to appreciate that you don't have to be like the best colorist to do this. It is actually doing something out of your comfort zone that brings you the joy that you don't even know you're missing. And that's what I loved about it. When I first saw you guys talking, I was like, I should do that. Like Lauren will tell you, I had like the pencils right there and I had this little coloring thing and I was like, this is a sign. I should be doing this.
It gives you surprising access to so many things.
Your brain.
And it seems like such a simple little almost trivial thing, but sitting down for 15, 20 minutes and just being creative on purpose, it slows your brain down in so many ways. And
that's right, because I'm like this. And then it goes like this.
And then all of a sudden you have what I like to call shower thoughts, but not in the shower.
Yes. And that's a beautiful concept, because people tell you that they create songs and stuff in the shower. That's their most creative moment. To think that you might have shower thoughts outside of the shower that have nothing to do with singing.
The brain science reason for that is that when you do a non-cognitive task, which is what coloring is, folding laundry, gardening, things that you just do automatically, even driving, being in the shower, washing yourself does not take conscious thought. Right. Like, so when you do non-cognitive activities, it occupies your monkey mind. It slows down the thoughts about next Tuesday's lunch, about what you're going to do on the weekend. It slows all of that down, and it really does create space for creativity.
And the beauty of this is, it's this tool that you can take that once you master it, and that word is a little bit funny to use, but once you get it, you won't have to color to be able to slow that thought down to create. It becomes a habit.
Meditation is specifically not sitting down cross-legged with candles and chanting.
Yes.
Right?
Yes.
Meditation is mastering the art of slowing your brain down intentionally on purpose.
That's it.
And what happens is we all get so busy that it's really hard to do that. And what happens is the only way we'll do that is if we have something that slows us down, like a coloring page.
Yes.
Right?
Yep. Yeah.
This is fun. You guys need to hang out.
Yes, please hang out.
Anytime.
Yolanda, I'm going to we're going till 9:30, and so I think when we close, I will play the single you sent me, because it is just going to leave everybody on a high note.
That's awesome.
And thank you for hanging out with us.
Thank you for having me.
I miss you. I miss theater.
We're coming back, and we're going to come back strong. When we come back, I'm just telling people, get ready, because you have all this beautiful, amazing pent-up energy from these creatives, and we're waiting to share it with you. So we're doing, and people on Broadway are even doing streaming as well. So we're doing something, but oh boy, there's something about being in a room live with the people.
I can't wait to see like what all of the constraints of COVID are going to create at the outset.
But remember, and I'll leave you with this thought, we gained something that we didn't have before, and that is this ability to stream. I don't know that I would have ever met you, right? Or we would have been in this space, but for the streaming and me watching that day and saying, hey. So I think we've made some beautiful connections, and I hope that when we do go back to being together, that we don't lose what we've earned and gained in relationships and in learning. So good stuff. We needed it.
Oh yeah, we need to hang.
Well, thank you, Yolanda. Go back to coloring. Share what you color.
I am. I have a to do now. Yes, I will do it. Which is
that is my finished product.
Oh, that's nice.
No, okay. Well, thank you, and I will talk to you soon.
All right, see you later.
So yes, she's amazing, an amazing performer,
a beautiful human,
Yes, she is. Okay, so I'm going to check my email for a second, because I know a couple of people sent me their coloring sheets. I have Kimberly's, And so I'm going to download it and I'm going to
So,
try to share.
while you're downloading, I'm gonna chat extemporaneously and just share that, like, one of the things that I love about COVID. Did I just say that out loud? I did. One of the things I love about COVID is that oftentimes all we get to see are the actors on the stage and their performances. What we've gotten to see a lot more of, because of streaming, because of all of these conversations happening, is that we're getting to see their humanity, who they are as people. We're getting to hear how they think, hear about their processes, and how they put what they do together. And we really get to see them as humans instead of, like and don't get me wrong, I've been to the stage door, but like, instead of the crazy fandom or fangirling sort of thing, it's really getting to see the humans behind the pedestal that many of us put them up on. And I just think it's a beautiful thing that we never would have had without the situation at hand.
I agree. And having so many of these wonderful conversations that I've had with people, I just feel like our community is so much more connected and the community's gotten larger. It's not just Raleigh Durham, it's a wider net because theater fans, theater lovers,
Our theater lovers, no matter where they are.
it doesn't matter where they are. So it's lovely. Steph, I looked through the comments and I can't find your picture, but I do have Kimberly.
Steph, text it to me, Steph.
Yeah,
I
was going
will
to say
show it.
text it or something, and we'll figure it out. And I am going to. There is. Can you? You are not seeing my screen. Let's see. There it is. So there, I love that coloring page. That's the one I'm working on too.
That's so pretty. I see. This is, again, I love how it comes out differently for every person, right? Every person does something different, and there's just there's just all of the creativity that comes out.
When you design the coloring pages, Andrea, do you have colors in mind? Do you have it in your mind how you would color it, or is it just a black and white image?
No, it is specifically just a black and white. What I have in my mind is what phrase I want and what part of that phrase I want to stand out. Actually, if Justine ever watches this, who's our main illustrator, I think some of the bigger challenges that we have are getting through. We had to establish the process so that she understood what it was I wanted to emphasize, because the cold never bothered me anyway. The first iteration looked like never bothered me was what stood out. I was like, no, it was like, hold on. And we had to or it was cold bothered me stood out instead of never bothered me. Right. Yeah. So I was like, no, for me, it's the meaning behind the words and creating something that will look beautiful when colored and stand out with the message that's intended.
Yes. And I think, I love fonts as a visual artist. When I was a visual artist, I loved fonts and old advertising and typography. And I think that's why I am so drawn to the coloring sheets, because the emphasis is on the words. And I just love words and fonts and typography.
Well, and when we first started this, she was doing hello, Kimberly Wood. I just saw her comment that I designed these. I will tell you a story after I tell the story. So when we first started this, Justine was doing a lot of mandala work. And so we did a lot of things with mandalas. And then as we moved into our Hamilton collection, we started doing more conceptual work. So the room where it happens is a door with a knob and things like that, but it's still, and why do you write like you're running out of time has it in the scroll. I think I have that sticker. I was like, I have my sticker right here. So there's the little scroll thing, and that's part of the design. But so we always have to balance the coloring because Justine is an illustrator and not a colorer. And so she'd do things and I was like, but hey, that's not enjoyable for me to color. So we had to switch back and forth. And then through my journey, I have started to design a few pages myself. I got myself an iPad Pro. I got Procreate and I learned how to do some things. But I also became more of an art director for her rather than she just being the owner of the concept. What I do for her is I do kind of a concept design. I do a folder with inspirational images and imagery in it for her. And then I sometimes will do a mock-up of what my vision is, and then she puts it in action. And so we kind of go back and forth through the process.
Well, and how long does it take to design a collection?
It really, the more refined the process we've got, the faster it goes. The other thing that helps speed it up is depending on how familiar she is with the show. So she is half my age, or maybe a little bit more than, or less than more than half my age. I don't know. Don't know which way the math needs to go for that. I am not a math person. But so she hasn't seen as many shows as I have and is not as fully entrenched in all things musical theater. And so when we do some shows that she's not too familiar with, then the burden in the nicest way of saying it, but the burden for the design lift is on me to make sure that she gets the elements and sees the thing. So like we did a Sweeney Todd page and she is not seen nor interested in Sweeney Todd, which is totally fine. But that just meant that I had to do a lot more concept work with it versus Frozen. We just went over the phrases and made sure she knew which words needed to be emphasized. And we went over some things. We did that in an hour meeting. And then a week later, we had all 4 pages, which then go to the printer, which then gets stuffed. And then there's a whole process behind that. It would be nice if it were just printing, coloring pages and coloring, but then there's a lot of business back end that people don't see.
Speaking of business back end, you also, and how I've come to know you is through the Broadway Makers Alliance. So can you talk about these incredible makers that are part of this group? Because I am in awe of the talent and products, and I want everyone to shop small and shop BMA.
So you need to put your link in your link to your what's it called, the holiday guide, and then if you've got the link to the BMA holiday guide, throw that in there as well. But yeah, Broadway Makers Alliance was formed after, or the concept for it. Hold on, let's see. I'll pause myself. Kimberly, yes, I think you just heard the story about me, and yes, we can totally be best friends and designing. And Wicked, we do have Wicked pages, if that's what you're asking.
And stickers.
and we have Wicked stickers. And since we paused, I'm going to show you what Steph has just texted me. So if you can.
Oh yes, so pretty.
Yep. Once upon a December. I'm like, how do I get it out of the light?
Yeah, no, I love the colors.
That's beautiful, Steph. It's gorgeous.
So, Kimberly, have you been to if you have not been to the Coloring Broadway website, I'm going to put your coloringbroadway.com. Yes. Steph is on it too. She's sharing the website.
Thanks, Steph.
Well, welcome to Addiction, Kimberly.
Well, and there's also, I believe there's an RDU on stage discount code, so you can drop that in there too. Oh, she bought the Wicked pages and stickers last night, which means they are in my queue to get sent out tomorrow. I try and package up everything at the end of the night, but sometimes that doesn't happen. So I do it the next day. So it will catch the mail tomorrow morning. So back to the story you asked about Broadway Makers Alliance. So our first it'll be 4 years ago now in January. God, has time gone that fast? But we were at Broadway Con for the first time, and I mean, the vendors, the marketplace there is just amazing anyway, because you have all of these people doing all of these brilliant fan art related projects and businesses and merch that they sell. And I started to meet some of them, and I was like, oh, you're so smart and you're doing this thing, and you're also so smart and you're doing this thing. And as we talked throughout the weekend, we all came to the conclusion that we all are smart and we're all doing this thing, but we're all facing similar challenges, but we're solving them by ourselves in a silo. And so we thought, if we've got all of these makers doing very similar things, why not put together a space where we can support each other in our growth as entrepreneurs? Because the concept of creating art and sharing that art and turning it into a sticker or a coloring page or a scenery bag or whatever it is a beautiful thing. But the process of turning it into a marketable product that makes you money as a business is a whole different skill set. There is a business brain and a mindset that goes beyond what having a beautiful idea about coloring. For me, like a beautiful idea about putting together a coloring book or a coloring page. All right, that's great. But now I have to learn words like what are my cost of goods sold and production value and how to upload it and what, like there's accounting, there's taxes, there's back end of MailChimp and figuring out how that works and funnels and this, like there's a whole bunch of things that are necessary for it to be a business, right? If it's just something I do for fun, I can just do it for fun and share it. But if it's going to actually sustain and make a profit and make it worth doing it, there's a whole bunch of other things. So anyway, long story short, Will, who has a beautiful theater maker toy called Tatro, which is a magnetic theater toy for kids, he and I connected, and Dr. Drama, Elisa Horwitz, and also Jen from Scenery Bags. We all found ourselves talking a lot over the course of that weekend, and we kept in contact and kind of like checked in with each other throughout the year. And in September of that year, we were like, it's time to form just a group. Like, can we just get a group of people together? And we opened it up to a few of the people. And by opened it up, we reached out to the people the other people we had met that year and said, hey, we're going to do a thing. Do you want to join? And they said, yeah, that sounds great. And so they did. And then we started to build more things. And so within the group, we host education nights for different things that entrepreneurs need to learn about. We do a lot of like self-awareness and mindset work, because being an entrepreneur is different than, like putting yourself out there in front of people and selling your product is a challenging emotional thing. And it's not always easy. So we do a lot of work around that. And it's grown to be this really beautiful, supportive community that just works with each other. And I love watching the creativity just like, and I just saw that Paul, who's Broadway Dolls and Guys, did a collaboration with Allison, who's a la mode, who just joined Broadway Makers Alliance. I was like, oh, they did a thing. And it's just beautiful to see makers supporting makers. And my philosophy behind it has always been that it is a world of abundance. There is enough room in this world for all of us to bring our creative genius to it and to support each other to do that. So, I mean, Lauren, you can speak to whether or not it shows up that way for you as a member, but that's definitely like my goal is to create a community where people feel safe, people feel supported, people can work together and just grow.
Absolutely. It's a place where it is a safe space where you can really brainstorm with each other and share the successes, share the, I don't even want to say failures, but share the things that don't work out so well and really get feedback from people who care. It is an incredibly caring community.
I think that's actually a really good point. Is it's where you get to show up and go, this isn't working and I'm banging my head against a wall, help, or I'm having, and this is a back end bit of being a product maker. I mean, we do have makers that are like Lauren, who do service based and podcasts and interviews and journalism, but we also have a lot of makers who make physical products. But it's a place where you can show up and be like, oh my God, I'm working with this customer and they are, they gave me a crappy review and I don't know what to do about it and I'm really doubting myself. Like, it's a place where you just get to show up however you need. And you know that it's safe to share all that's going on and that you're going to be supported to move and work through it.
100%, 100%. And people can join no matter where in the country you are. You don't have to be in New York. You just have to be anywhere, a theater maker, theater lover, theater enthusiast, have some product or service that has to do with the theater.
Yeah, it's where business and theater intersect. So whether you have, it's really geared towards people who have a theater focused product, or we've also now this year brought in theater professionals who have a side hustle. So like Broadway life coach, right? Brett Shuford, and some other people who are theater professionals, but now are shifting to their to side hustles to support them that aren't necessarily theater related. So,
and I will say, I think one of the biggest benefits is the classes. There's classes that are ongoing. It seems like workshops, everything from social media to SEO, and the ones I've attended have been fantastic, and they're recorded, and it's just an amazing resource. So Kimberly, we would love to have you. I'm putting the link
Kimberly,
to the.
now I want to know what you do. What do you do? What business do you have? Like, I know Steph says she loves the makers, and I love the makers too. And I love you, Steph. Steph had a blog called Speech to Stage, not to share too much, but she's a speech pathologist, and she creates connections between speech therapy and I know I'm butchering this, sorry Steph, but she creates the connections between theater and speech and puts it together to help the kids that she works with. And so she had a blog and she joined the makers just to be a part of a community that was working through like what it was to put out content in that space.
And Dr. Drama too also has, she's producing a lot of content right now, Alyssa, and it's just an amazing group. So Kimberly, tell us in the chat what you do. We'd love to know what you do.
Yep, it is a fabulous, happy place. So
yes.
Lauren, we're trying to work on a retreat, on a business building retreat for February. I'm speaking it into existence.
She's willing it into existence.
I'm law of attractioning it right there. If I say it out loud, then it has to come to fruition.
Then it will happen. Mm-hmm. Well, this has been lovely. I love this. Okay, Steph says, Andrea, you nailed the description. It's wrapping up this month. I'll miss the little blog that could. Oh.
Well, Steph, we're still gonna be here to talk to, just so you know. You're not going anywhere.
Yeah. So what else do you have on deck? What's happening next for Coloring Broadway once you get past the Kimberly. Okay, Kimberly is in Raleigh, and you volunteer at Raleigh Little Theater, and you're on the board as well.
Wonderful.
Raleigh Little Theater is, I'm going to venture to say, the oldest community theater in our area, probably one of the oldest community theaters in the country. It was built by the WPA once upon a time, and it's adjacent to our gorgeous Rose Garden. So it's a must-stop place. They have an amphitheater. They have a main stage theater, and then they have a black box space, and they do amazing productions there. One of my favorite theaters, Raleigh Little Theater. So if you're ever in Raleigh, you gotta look them up.
Well, like we said, we've already talked about when travel is possible, Tamir and I are on our way. So
yes.
Mhm.
And
Well, you asked what's up next for Coloring Broadway. Well, we're going to get through the holidays and do all of the shipping and all of the things and all of the new production. We just launched our Frozen and our Lion King packs. We like to do product releases once a month, usually on the first Thursday. Don't always make it because life happens, but that's what we plan for. And then we also just put together our latest digital access pass. So we have a subscription coloring service once a month. I guess it's a service, but a subscription coloring or coloring subscription. Let's just put it that way. And it's 4 new pages each month. 2 are from existing collections and 2 are from upcoming or one-off collections. So Justine just finished an Into the Woods page, which will be coming out next in January's set, and I think maybe the Anne Juliet one is going to go in there for that, because we have some folks across the pond who love the coloring. And then really I'm speaking in that business space. I'm taking January to sit back. And Lauren, I think you're frozen. Am I frozen? Uh-oh. I will just finish. I'll say I'm going to take January and come back and do, tech difficulties. I'm going to take January and do some business planning for Coloring Broadway. We'll still do our release. We'll be there with new and different things. But for Coloring Broadway, what I'm focused on in the next year is starting to do more conversing about the mindfulness and the meditation and the hello, Lauren, and the leadership lessons that you can learn from theater. So there'll be more writing, there'll be more conversations, there'll be more of me doing the passion thing that got me into the whole Coloring Broadway world. So
I am
coloring.
All right, there'll be more coloring.
There'll be more coloring.
Well, thank you all for joining us tonight. I know Andrea and I would love to see your coloring creations, so tag us on social media.
Oh, yeah.
Luciano said he sent his to Instagram.
Okay.
Kimberly said the mindfulness pages were amazing. So
I'm so glad. Those are another thing we're going to do more of. I have visions of an actual coloring journal with mindfulness prompts and other things. Like it's just speaking that into existence out in the world. So
yes. And Kimberly, speaking of speaking things into existence, I'm really missing First Friday. I don't know about you, but I'm missing that communal gallery walk in downtown Raleigh. And so I think I'd like to do a coloring night featuring different makers each month. So if that happens, keep posted, because there's some great makers doing theater related stuff. So yes, okay, good. So Kimberly's
super fun. And also, if you guys like this and like the coloring things with the guests and things, I think this would just be so much fun. Like how fun it is to have these chill conversations while doing something, and then having I started another one. So we're doing, I'm dreaming of a white Christmas, except for now the bricks are brown. So we have to get the white in there in a bit. But yeah, so if you'd like more of this, please let us know.
Please let us know, or if there's different things you'd like to see, different kinds of programming to bring the community together. That is what Andrea and I are all about. So let's do it.
Let's do it.
All right. So I'm going to play Yolanda's fantastic music. She's going to play us out. And I want to plug next Thursday, Steph is going to show up at all the coloring events. Next Thursday, I will be chatting with Eric Woodall, who is the producing artistic director of North Carolina Theater. He and I will be talking Tonys. He was a Tony voter. He worked for Tara Rubin Casting in New York for 14 years before he moved back to Raleigh. And so, in fact, Brett told me that Eric cast him in The Little Mermaid on Broadway. So it is a small world. Okay. Sorry. So, all right. So,
and book problems.
It's live. Don't you love live? And I'm going to pull up the beautiful Yolanda's music so you all can hear her sing.
Beautiful in soul, spirit, and everything.
Yes, she is amazing. All right.
Fabulous.
So let me still figuring out the StreamYard thing. So just bear with me while I figure out how to share my screen with all of you with audio. That's what we had the issue the other night.
Lauren, this was so much fun. I'm going to just talk us through the tech stuff. Are you okay? Did it hit you?
No. It didn't. It kind of slipped down, but yes, I think I will be lifting up that shelf so it doesn't hit me in the head again.
Thank you, Kimberly.
But this was amazing, and thank you, Andrea, for hanging out and coloring with all of us and inspiring all of us with these amazing mindfulness sheets. And
I just see more of this happening, just so you know. Like I see some collaboration going on here.
I do too. I'm liking it. Like I said, I like being in your business. I like you being in my business. So
I like you being in my business. Come on over in my business.
Yeah. All right. So I have her video. I will share it. We'll come back. We'll say goodbye, and we're good to go. Thank you, guys.
So beautiful.
Oh no, where did she go?
The temperature is falling, like the autumn leaves outside, and everyone is longing for Christmas to arrive. You can feel it in the air. Jack Frost, you know he's coming round. There is joy everywhere. Because those who are so dear to us are coming into town to adhere to the glorious one who wears the crown. And I'm wishing you a very Merry Christmas. I'm wishing you have a Happy New Year. I'm wishing you a very Merry Christmas. Hoping it brings you smiles and lots of good cheer. It's time for us to admire the one who's known as the Messiah. He was born to save the Lord's children of the earth. He feeds the hungry soul and he quenches every thirst. You can feel it in the air. There is joy everywhere. The children are so anxious for presents they desire. Outside you see them playing, wearing warm attire. You can feel it in the air. Jack Frost, you know he's coming round. There's joy everywhere. Yeah, because those who are so dear to us are coming into town to adhere to the glorious one who wears a crown. And a very Merry Christmas, yeah. Have a Happy New Year. Wishing you a very Merry Christmas. Hoping it brings you smiles and lots of good cheer. Christmas is that time of the year for you to be with your family and loved ones. Be of good cheer. Strive to be happy. And remember, you can do all things in Christ who strengthens you.
She is so good. She's so soulful and jazzy and many of her songs are non-denominational, but and she has several albums. So don't no matter what your denomination is, it's music to color by. Anyway, thank you guys. Thank you, Andrea. Thank you everyone for coloring with us this evening. And maybe we'll do it again next month. Let's plan something.
I think we should do a monthly one. I'm just gonna put that out there.
I'm thinking so too. So yes, we will make it happen. Just follow us on social media at Coloring Broadway or at RDU on Stage, and you can stay posted. Thank you, everyone. Have a good night and stay safe and healthy.